Here we are, IOHR TV in Kushtapa camp in Erbil Governorate. I'm very pleased to interview with Doaa Elbayad, who is the UN Refugee Agency Protection Officer. What's the biggest obstacle that you see with managing refugees?
One of the main challenges that UNHCR is facing is the scarce of funds. Donors have been so generous in providing sufficient funds to respond to emergencies and crises, but with the ongoing crisis in many places, resources have been also shrinking bit by bit, and UNHCR finds itself in a position where it has to prioritize its responses, basically focusing on responding to the important needs such as providing shelters, food packages to new arrivals, responding to protection needs, especially those who have faced violences and got affected as a result. And all of these activities require sufficient fund to be able to provide the service in an appropriate manner and to maintain the dignity of refugees and asylum seekers.
What kind of criteria do you look for when you're working with government partners or NGOs? You've got a lot here, there's over 80 of them in Iraq. What is it that you think would make a good partner?
UNHCR policy is indeed to work through specialized partners in different areas, whether it is construction of camps or digging or focusing deeper into providing specialized services like addressing the needs of children at risk or women at risk or persons with specific needs. So we always look into partners who have the capacity, who have the experience, who have staff who believe in the humanitarian work, because it's not an easy job.
IOHR and many different NGOs in the UK are calling on the government to extend the welcome of the community sponsorship programme. So that's both government and private sector. It's due to end in 2020, and we want to ask for more and for longer to make sure that we're helping some of the most vulnerable refugees. What message would you give to the government?
The only possible solution for them is to move elsewhere and start from that place and call it a home. So we are also joining such advocacy and asking countries which are able to receive refugees to continue opening their door for them and sharing the burden with us in supporting these refugees for enabling their children to have a better future. And this is what we always hear from the refugees. The fathers and the mothers say, we are old, we know this is our life, but what we care for is our children. And if I am speaking to the international community, I will always ask them to think about the children.
Doaa, how do you select families for resettlement? I've spoken to lots of refugees in the camp. They've spoken about wanting to go to Europe, to the UK. How do you choose who gets to go?
For example, with the UK, they focus a lot on identifying children at risk. So those who lack documentation, are not able to go to school because of lack of documentation or because of financial reasons. And other countries have similar and more criteria than that. Usually they present the numbers that they are able to receive, the number of persons or families, and the criteria or conditions that they would like to find it within those families to be resettled to their countries. So some of these criteria focus on vulnerability of families.
What sort of support do they get before they leave? Is it a quick time, or do they get time to know what to do?
So our role is basically facilitation of the departure of the families. And we do even escort some families at the airport just to make sure that the procedures are carried out in a smooth way and they depart safely and happily.
Governments are some of the major donors of the UN. What do you think they should be doing to do more to help refugees?
Sometimes, like things that we take for granted to be available, helping children to have at least a library where they can read, get more information, feel that they are not in an isolated place. We had a project in another operation like Ethiopia in Doaa, where we did a multi-purpose library where we brought laptops, we brought iPads.
UNHCR, Citizens UK and Sponsor Refugees are hosting the first Sponsor Refugee Awards in the UK. You've got a room full of people in London wanting to know what's happening on the ground. What advice would you give them?
We do have a slogan with UNHCR, is one refugee is a lot. I've been with UNHCR for the past 14 years, and I will continue working with UNHCR till the end, because working for a humanitarian organization and helping people who are in difficult situations make you feel that your existence is worth. So I can come and go and nobody knows about me as a person, but my work will tell people who I am. And I will, at the end of the day, feel that my existence is worth happening because I have helped another person who needs support. So this is the message that I would like to pass to anybody. Your voice matters, your efforts matters, and it will help somebody who needs your help.
Doaa Elbayad, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and all of the staff at Kushtapa camp here in Erbil.
Thank you very much.